time for K-Correspondent. Today, we connect to Los Angeles, which is still suffering the aftermath of the recent wildfires. We will talk about the situation with Robert Ahn, the president of the Korean American Federation of Los Angeles, which was quick to respond in its relief efforts for the community. Hello, Mr. Ahn.
Hi, Mr. Ahn.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Now, first off, the wildfires that ravaged Southern California since early last month and have killed 29 people have been fully contained as of roughly a week ago. But the aftermath, of course, continues to impact the area. So, Mr. Ahn, how is the situation right now?
Well, fortunately, the fires have been contained, but now the long, arduous recovery process begins. Over the last few days, we also had significant rain, and the result of that has been mudslides, the water runoff, and we're dealing with environmental concerns, very serious environmental concerns right now. You can imagine all the pollutants, the contaminants that result from a massive fire of this size. And so many residents have not even been able to go back to their homes because of safety concerns. But the road to recovery, by some estimates, can take up to 10 years. Beginning with clearing of the debris, which that in and of itself may take a year or more. And then we've got to go to the rebuilding process, which is going to take many, many years.
Well, usually during the fires, you would think that rain would be good news, but in the aftermath, it looks like weather conditions afterwards really do count a lot as well in the recovery efforts.
Definitely. And Los Angeles is actually home to the largest Korean community in the U.S. So we want to talk about the Korean community as well. How badly has Korean community or Korean people in Los Angeles have been affected by the fire? I know we've heard that former Major League Baseball pitcher Park Chan-wook's house has been destroyed. What are some damages that has happened?
You know, the exact number of Korean American victims, it's still yet to be told. We think the numbers, we don't know exactly yet. But one thing I want to point out is beyond the actual homeowners, when we think of the victims, we think of primarily the homeowners that lost their homes. But the actual number of victims go beyond the homeowners. I'll give you an example. We met recently the owner of a dry cleaners whose business is solely reliant on the homeowners in the Pacific Palisades. So this particular dry cleaners was left unscathed. However, his entire customer base is gone. That entire neighborhood has been decimated. So the economic impact goes far beyond just the actual homeowners. And so we're still trying to ascertain how far and wide the impact goes.
Hearing from you, Mr. Ahn, you really get to see that it is difficult to really grasp the situation of these individual people who are affected by this. It's not just the numbers of victims that we see in the daily news, but we also have some other losses to talk about, right, Bella?
There are also unfortunate cultural loss in the fire. Please tell us about some of the cultural losses that they've experienced in Los Angeles with the fire.
Yeah, so in addition to many, many schools, we also have some historic designated structures that were also impacted. Some of these homes that were built by notable architects that were also lost and forever perished in the fires. So we're dealing with those cultural losses as well, in addition to the everyday residences. And there are also some business impacts as well, but it's very widespread. You can imagine the size of the fire in the Palisades alone, they say, is equal to twice the size of Manhattan in New York. So it's a huge amount of area that we lost and that was affected by the fires. So you can imagine we also had concurrently 4 to 5 different fires happening around the same time, with wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour that was spreading embers over 5 miles. And so you can imagine the devastation and the destruction that occurred in a very short period of time.
Devastating indeed. But now let's turn to your community's efforts to help. The Korean American Federation of Los Angeles swiftly responded. Please tell us how.
Yeah, we got in very early and we knew right away that the air quality was going to be an issue. So within the first 3 days, we were able to get donations and we were so grateful to the outpouring of support. We had phone calls from all over the country, even all over the world, including South Korea. We were able to get over 100,000 masks within the first 3 days, and we deployed those right away to our partners in the city and the county, irrespective of whether they're Korean or not. At that point, we're thinking like Angelenos. We're there to do our part to help our local community, our city, and our county.
Wow, great to hear those donations. And speaking of donations, I heard there's also individual donations and support that they've received from entrepreneurs in the community that are still continuing. What's your view on these donations?
Yeah, so in the beginning, we were working on relief supplies, but due to the outpouring support, the local cities and the county agencies are not able to accept more of these in-kind donations. So we've since pivoted to actual financial contributions and donations, and we've done a major fundraiser, and we're going to continue fundraising efforts until the end of March. And to date, I'm proud to report that the Korean American Federation, we have raised over $150,000. And the donations come in all kinds of sizes, from local church community groups, individuals, anyone that's willing to chip in. And they've been coming again from all parts of the country and around the world. So we're very grateful for the outpouring of support. It really means a lot to us here in Los Angeles, that to know that we are so supported, that we're being thought of around the world, and we greatly appreciate the support.
So, Mr. Ahn, earlier you mentioned that really the recovery process is at its early stages and it's going to take months or even years until everything goes back to where it has been before the wildfires. So you mentioned the fundraisers, the current program, it goes until March, you said. But is there any other way that we can support, maybe also hear from South Korea?
Yeah, right now, the main source of support would be financial. Like I said, we're not able to accept and process in-kind donations at this time, emergency supplies, masks, blankets, things of that nature. We've been inundated with those types of donations. And so if anybody can help, it would be with financial contributions. You can reach us at info@kafla.org, info@kafla.org.
Mr. Ahn, it looks like we have a technical glitch right now, but Mr. Ahn, can you hear us now? Mr. Ahn?
Hello?
Hello, okay.
Yes.
Oh, so
Can you
yes,
hear me?
so we did get to hear the ways we can sponsor through these websites. So thank you for letting us know. And just one final question. Are there also any efforts in regards to any possible wildfires that could happen again in the near future? How would you prepare yourself for that?
Yeah, so, it's a little premature right now, but I think we definitely have to look back at the containment efforts, at the response from the fire department, from the city and the county. And we have to have a better understanding of how we can better contain future fires. Los Angeles, California in general, we have been susceptible to wildfires for many, many years now. So this really should not have come as a surprise. I think we definitely have to do a better job of preparation to make sure that in the future, if and when those fires occur, that we are much better prepared to deploy rapid responses to make sure that a fire of this size and magnitude does never happen again.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahn, for sharing and also for connecting with us during the difficult time that you, the community, and everyone affected by the wildfires must be coping with right now. So we sincerely wish the best for the remaining recovery efforts, and thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you, Bella, as always. We're going to see you back next week.
Yes, I'll see you back next Thursday.